Hi, it's Paul, and today I'm an old man with the metal parts bender again. And today we're going to talk about clamping when we roll a bend. So, if you've seen a video that I did on positioning the bend correctly, then you will have seen me use, I think it was this clamp to clamp the material into the machine. If you have one of the extremely high quality manuals that comes with this equipment, with whoever's version you've got, you may well see something that says you might find it useful to clamp the workpiece. It also suggests if you want to clamp it, get yourself a pair of mole grips and stick them on the workpiece to clamp it in position. Let me just take that out a second. I'll turn this block round because it's going to illustrate my point a little better. So, this is quite often how we have our setup of our machine. We can't get anything super tight. It's one of the issues. There's no incremental adjustment in the machine, so you can't get bits and pieces tight. So you've got to do what you. So you stick your mole grips on the end of the steel to stop it pulling through the block, and first thing it does is it rocks your bit of metal down, which is a pain in the neck. So what I have is a 10mm spacer that goes under there. It's just a broken broad fixed spacer, and I can slide my metal through, but as I slide my metal through, the stop block moves about all over the place. It's just sloppy. So what I've personally discovered is the best thing to do is actually clamp the material to the block. I've found that the best clamp I've got is this little G clamp, which I think I inherited off my father-in-law. It's probably about sort of 50 or 60 years old as a minimum. But with that, I can clamp the material to the stop block, and that removes one of my points of movement, and it stops the steel going anywhere. And I can roll it round now, and I can be confident that that isn't going to move. Do I have to use this clamp? No. Before I used this clamp, I was experimenting with a few others. I found this one, which is actually all right. It's just a really lightweight, flimsy thing, and it doesn't clamp particularly well, but it works. So that works okay. I even cut down one of my sliding clamps so that I can take it apart and reassemble it in the machine. And that works perfectly well as well. If you happen to have a pair of mole grips, I'm going to call them engineer's mole grips or welder's mole grips, where the top jaw slides in and out, you could probably get that in somehow. Not sure, maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't. But I will say again to you that clamping it there is no good. Not clamping it at all is no good. I even went to the point of experimenting and making a clamp device that fits in here. And clamps the steel against the centre pin, and I can do up this hex head screw that clamps the metal as well, and the clamp slides backwards and forwards, so slides backwards and forwards on the pin. I can put a roller on it if I want to make up the space. I can turn in the bolt and I can clamp it. Okay. Spent a few hours making that up. It's just a couple of bits of 10mm plate and a couple of bits of 8mm plate all sawn up and then welded on the corners. But in absolute honesty, it was a lot of time spent to only do exactly the same as that. I suppose the one advantage it has is it gives me very little protrusion on this side, and it's a little bit less messy in terms of getting the clamping and all the rest of it. But to be absolutely honest, it just sits in the box as a project completed and never used. But the critical thing I would say is I would suggest that if you are rolling a bend, not forming an angle, if you're rolling a bend around a former, then I would suggest you always clamp your work and clamp it well. And that way you remove one variable. There's plenty of others. Sloppy, all the rest of it. Clamp your material, makes a better job. Hope that's helped. See you in the next one. Bye.